When we want to display text in Flash Professional, the most straightforward way of doing so is to employ the text tool. This lesson will examine the use of this tool in creating text fields upon the stage. So here we have a blank document opened inside of Flash Professional, and I'm going to go over to the toolbar here and select our text tool. So there are two ways of setting up text. We can simply start creating text fields on the stage and then modify the properties of that text field. Or you can see when we have the text tool selected, we can preemptively change a number of different properties. So I'm going to choose some basics here. Let's do this cursive Viner hand, and I'll make the size 60 points. And for color, I'll do this nice green color here. Readability I don't care about in this case. For anti-alias properties, I'm actually going to set anti-alias for animation, just because this is a big, sort of strangely shaped font. If I was doing paragraphs of text, I would want to choose readability for sure. And I'm going to align it to the left, draw out my text field, and type in my content. So going back to the selection tool, I can now move this text along the stage. And you'll notice that when I have this text selected, that I get a number of other properties exposed in terms of options and filters and so forth. So this is a static text field. What happens when I actually go in and test this? So if I go to Control, Test Movie, Test, you can see that I can't select it or anything like that. It's totally embedded in my SWF. However, if I go down into Character, you'll notice here that we have the option to make our text selectable or not. So then if I go back to Control, Test Movie, Test, I can actually select that text. And I can even copy and paste it if I want to. However, this is still static text. The elements of the text are all rendered when we compile this. So I can't actually change this text. To do that, I would need to create, instead of static text, dynamic text. You can see that the background of this text field just turned white. That's because of this little property right here to show border around the text. So I've turned that off. So when you have dynamic text, you can give that text field an instance name. And this is just like you can give a movie clip or a button symbol an instance name in order to refer to it through ActionScript. So I'll just call this text field. And now that it has an instance name on it, I can actually change properties of the text field, and I can also change the content of the text field from within ActionScript. You'll notice that when I select a portion of the text, I can actually go in and change specific things. And you might think that since I have that selected right there, that I can actually change that specific piece. But since I'm using dynamic text, I can't. So let's go in and change that to static text. And notice when I choose static text, and this is one of the benefits of static text, is that I can go in and change very specific elements of this text field. And what happens is that these elements will actually change per character instead of changing the entire text field. And that's a distinction that you're going to want to keep in mind, is that static text, while you cannot change it dynamically, you can do many more creative things with it than you can with dynamic text. though dynamic text can be changed on the fly through ActionScript. So each has its strengths and weaknesses. So this has been a lesson on creating and somewhat managing text fields in Flash Professional CS6.